The Indian Air Force has decided that it is done playing catch up with major powers in air power technology, and it has decided that it is now want to match or exceed them. During the recent report to the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Defence, it has been clearly stated that the Indian Air Force now seeks to join a European 6th generation consortium. And yes, that is exactly how it has been worded in the document. So, what does this mean? Let's take a look. Alright, so firstly, the report states that we will look at futuristic systems such as hypersonic missiles, which PSUs may not be able to address independently. So here it is a complete admission that the old model of DRDO designing something and HAL producing something has been dead. It is no longer possible for a single designer and a single public sector vendor to produce that aircraft, because the 6th generation is no longer a general aircraft. It is a system of different types of aircraft. So the report also states that with respect to 5th generation fighters, we are working on them. The advanced medium combat aircraft is a 5th generation fighter. However, the countries like the United States have already begun work on 6th generation fighters. And the reason they have mentioned United States here is not because of United States, but is because they cannot admit that China has already gone really far ahead of us, and China is actually the main threat that we have, and not the United States as of now. Not to say that the United States isn't a threat. It is just not a military threat. The United States is just a geopolitical threat. It is not going to attack us in any way, but China is a military threat. It is sitting right on our borders, and China has been flying two different 6th generation prototypes that were seen last year, which were dubbed the Chengdu J36 and the Shenyang J50. So they have now said that therefore we will soon initiate development of technologies that will be essential for 6th generation platforms. Now what this means is that this is no longer a concept. This is no longer anything that we are planning to do or something like that. This is real policy, because the moment things like this come in the parliament, it is clear that the Ministry of Defence and the Indian Air Force at large, they have decided that yes, they want these technologies. This is no longer a proof of concept. This is no longer a design render that they want to publish and then keep working on it for 20 years. This is a direct, in a sense, response that to the Chinese threat that they are now, on top of having two different 5th generation aircraft, they're going to have two different 6th generation capabilities, and one was even seen with triple engines, which is very insane, which has never been seen ever before. So it is also stated that a 6th generation fighter will essentially be a network centric platform connected to other platforms as well as ground systems. It will not function as a standalone aircraft. Again, this is just a repeat of what I have just said. A 6th generation is not just the fighter aircraft in itself. It is a system of the fighter aircraft. It's unmanned teaming systems that are working alongside it, the artificial intelligence that has been used in the program, and it also includes the software, the avionics structure, which is, although a part of the aircraft itself, it is going to play such a huge role in the aircraft that it is almost taken as a separate part in the aircraft. And then of course the engines that you have to make for both the aircraft and both the drones that it has been flying. So now where the real deal is in this report, which says that the committee has been informed that two consortia are working on 6th generation aircraft. One is a consortium of the UK, Italy and Japan, and the other is a consortium of France and Germany, and they missed out Spain in that. And both are developing the aircraft. The committee has also been informed that Air Force will try to join forces with one of the consortia and begin considering a 6th generation fighter right away, with a view to ensure that they do not lag behind in achieving the target for advanced aircraft. This is a direct admission that we have been missing out of technologies, because the condition of the Indian Air Force has become so poor that they have to import 114 Rafales in 2026 because all of the domestic programs have failed to deliver on time. The Tejas Mark 1As should have been delivered in numbers of 3 to 4 squadrons by now if it went through its original planned 2024 delivery date. It is now March 2026 and there's no delivery yet. General Electric has not given more than 5 engines. The Tejas Mark 2 has not taken its first flight. The Su-30 MKI upgrade is still pending, and it has been said that it is 5 years away. So if this continues, and if somehow the AMCA also fails to meet desired standards, we are going to be at a point where we'll have to import such expensive programs that in a sense it will almost shake up the defense budget pretty badly. So once you have listed these programs, they have mentioned the GCAP and the FCAS program. The GCAP is the Global Combat Air Program, which is a UK one that has been mentioned, and the FCAS is the French program, which is being partnered up, which is being made by partnering up with Germany and Spain. Now, both of these programs are looking for an additional partner because 6th generation technologies are incredibly expensive to develop. Even the United States is spending upwards of hundreds of billions of dollars on research and development. Even China is probably spending, they are not going to spend as much as the United States because of the per capita income structure, but they are still going to be spending $50-60 billion on their own program as well, especially considering the fact China does not have good quality engines even in 2026. They are still struggling with the engine part. So this is a good decision. I think if we take a look at both the programs, let's just take a look at both the programs and see which one is actually fit for the Air Force to join. Alright, firstly talking about the Global Combat Air Program, which is better known as the Tempest. So this program has been initiated for a few years now. Originally it was only a British-Italian venture, but then later on last year Japan also joined, cancelling their own in-house 6th generation project because they also realized it's pretty expensive and it's not economical for a single country to make unless you're going to give 100-150 orders or more. So Japan joined, and now they are looking for another partner because they want to further amortize the costs of the high amount of research that is going to be taking in the program. So who better to invite than India, because India has the money as well and India has the order capacity as well, because if say India gets the industrial participation in this, we get to design the aircraft, we get to manufacture certain components of it, not just assemble the aircraft in India and just put it in service. But if we get industrial participation, the Indian Air Force has a huge chance of say taking around 100-150 aircraft, probably even 200, given the fact how good the aircraft is, or if we are going to run our own future program for the 6th generation aircraft or not. But this is a good idea, and I think with GCAP we are going to have a better chance at securing industrial participation because the situation with FCAS is looking kind of grim.
Well, here in Europe, France and Germany are at odds over a new generation of fighter aircraft, still in development. The French armed forces insist the jet must be able to carry nuclear arms, but for the Germans, that's irrelevant because they don't have any nuclear weapons.
Alright, now talking about the FCAS program. So the FCAS program stands for the Future Combat Air System. It was just initiated in 2022 and it is a joint venture between France, Germany and Spain. Although it is kind of on the brink of collapse because for the fact that the problem between France and Germany is France wants almost all of the work share for itself. Meanwhile, Germany wants at least some work share for the part it is going to contribute in the program. So this program does not seem to be coming anytime before 2040. Which is actually a bad thing because we need to field something against China as soon as we can, and our 5.5 generation fighter, which is the AMCM Mark II, that will come around 2037. So if timelines exceed 2040, at that point we can just make our own program. And the problem with France is they never allow their secondary partners or junior partners to get good access to technology and good access to industrial participation. They always want most of the work share for themselves, and while the others fund. And right now probably they won't even have funding problems because India is giving such a large Rafale order that is expected to be costing around 35 to 40 billion dollars. So they have funding set, but with France, this is the single most problem. Otherwise, France is usually a more trusted partner than the UK or Japan is for India, because the UK and Japan obviously come under American pressure, but France has historically been wary of American pressure. That is the same case with Russia, because obviously Russia is not an American ally. But being an American ally, France has always never sanctioned India. So that is what makes it a much more safer bet long term. So now, which one of these programs should India choose? Well, if you take my opinion, I think the GCAP program is a better idea because firstly, it is coming in 2035 or a similar time frame. And that is the time frame we expect China to field one or the both of their 6th generation fighters at that time. Second, I think that we have a chance of securing greater industrial participation because the UK has been really keen, like really keen to work with projects with us. For example, with the AMC engine, although that was given to Safran, which is a French company, they were still like very keen on developing things with India. And the thing with Japan is the India-Japan relations are already speeding pretty high, and we are trying to have more defense partnerships with Japan. So it is not a bad idea in itself. And then with Italy has always like we have had a good relationship with Italy. On the other hand, all three countries in the FCAS program, which is France, Germany, and Spain, we have good relations with them as well. But in that program, there is a lot lower chance that we secure industrial participation in the program, that we get to design some part of the aircraft, and we get to know the know-how and know-why. And let me be very clear, if we are not getting the know-how and know-why of the technologies, or at least some part of it, then investing such a large amount makes no sense. At that point, I think if neither of the programs are giving us the know-how and know-why, I think then a program can be initiated with Russia, or it can be initiated on our own. Because right now, it's not that we don't have the capability of developing 6th generation platforms. It's just that we are too late in deciding. Honestly, these programs should have been initiated by 2020-21. Right after the Galwan Valley clash, we should have initiated a lot of domestic development programs we don't have. But yet, I mean, obviously our government woke up after Operation Sindoor only, because despite blowing Pakistan's butt off, it has been realized that while we are sufficiently capable to take on Pakistan any day, the same might not be the case with China because of how rapidly they are expanding. And this is a fear not just in India, but in the Pacific and in the United States as well. So this is a good initiative. I think that we are finally working towards improving our procurement structure, which has been so destroyed since 2000-2001, ever since the Su-30 MKI procurement, which was the last good decision of procuring any sort of aircraft. So that's all I had to say. This is a good initiative, and I really hope that instead of just planning, we get an execution done fast. We join a program done fast. We chose our private sector partners to work with the companies, and then we move on forward. And I think the better approach in joining this program is whichever company is going to receive the AMCA contract, we should hand them over the complete technology of the aircraft, give them the design, the know-how, know-why, and let that company hire its own engineers, and then a private sector company from India should take part in either of those programs. I think that would be a better approach long term than, say, having DRDO involved in these programs. So that is all I had to say, and if you have any differing opinions, please let me know down in the comments, and I shall see you all in the next video. Take care, and I'll see you all in the next video. Jai Hind.